Let's take a seat so we can get going, please. Thank you. Okay, I think everybody's settled in, and we're going to call the meeting to order. Thank you all for showing up today. We appreciate it very much. I'd like to start out with a pledge, and Ms. Daly, I'm going to ask you to lead us in the pledge, please.
Oh boy. We're ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, your own people. That's okay. It's okay. Jeez.
The camera is there, so I'm getting my
Brian?
right. They told me not to sit this way, so I was focusing on that.
Brian, we have the recorder on today.
We do, just so everybody,
Oh,
Just so everybody knows, we are testing some new media concepts for communication to the membership. So this is a live feed. It's going to go, and we'll edit it and make sure it corresponds with all the things we have to do to be able to put this on the website. But we would like some of the owners that are not here to be able to understand what happened at the meeting today. So this is a test run. This is the first live meeting. We tested in the agenda meeting, and the audio quality is good, the picture quality is good. So once we get done editing, it should be a nice communication piece moving forward.
So just to let you know, you are being taped. Okay, Trish, would you start out please with our minutes?
Sure. I move to approve the MLCC board meeting minutes for December the 14th and a special board meeting December the 30th, 2019.
Do we have, okay, any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Motion carries.
All right. I move to accept the executive meeting minutes from December the 10th. December the 14th has an amendment which will send to the board. And December 17th, December the 18th, and December the 30th.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Okay, on the announcements, Trish.
Food and beverage happenings Sunday, February 2nd, 3 to the end is the Super Bowl party. Thursday will continue as theme nights. Saturday, February 15th is Valentine's party, and there will be entertainment every Saturday evening. Other happenings Sunday, February 2nd is a shotgun start with Super Bowl sweep scramble. Saturday, February the 8th, the MLCC Couples Tournament, and the Pro Skins game will start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't put on the agenda because it happened after, but Andy Carney from the Men's Golf Association is accepting donations for the Pro Skins game. And if you want there, I think there's something down in the Pro Shop that says something about the Pro Skins. I haven't been down there yet. Wednesday, February the 12th is the ladies' luncheon group at Enzo's. Thursday, February 13th is theater night. Thursday, February the 20th is noon, the Cabot's Pueblo Museum. And Friday, February 21st, the Pro Shop will have ping here for golf clubs.
Okay, Trish, thank you very much. Next up is our members' comments. So, Trish, who do we have?
Just one, Richard Krieb.
Mr. Creed, come on up.
I prefer to talk when the RFCAs are brought up.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, on to committee reports. Mr. Stalker, what do we have for ACC?
We have Hall Daily.
We have Hall. Come on down, Hall.
Come on down. All right. This really works. Thank you, Tom. The ACC met on January 13th, and it was announced that Ray Ghost was resigning from the ACC. I'm asking if the board has acted upon that.
It's on the agenda.
Perfect. month, the ACC heard its first complaint about the termination of the voicemail line since it was deactivated 14 months ago after numerous announcements beforehand to the membership. The matter at which this complaint arose was satisfactorily taken care of by email. The ACC asked me to remind the GM to make sure that the old voicemail message line is corrected to include the ACC email address. Spoken out, acc@missionlakescountryclub.com. At the January 13th ACC meeting, the committee heard 4 member guests make comments about one or more of 3 different variance applications that were on the agenda for discussion. Afterward, a variance for construction of a justified retaining wall at Picard address was approved with multiple conditions. In addition, the committee approved 2 recommendations to the board for conditional approvals of separate variances at neighboring golf course properties. Those recommendations have been forwarded to the BOD so that they may be acted upon at the board's discretion. Separately, the ACC agreed that a report by committee members Don Gray, Laura King, and Jim Nelson for updating the architectural color schematics chart will be heard at the ACC's February 10 meeting, after which the full committee's recommendations are expected to be forwarded to the board. Next meeting will be February 10th at 1:30. One final personal note. There was an incident with an owner who abusively objected to an ACC member's presence in front of his property at the site of a recurring violation this past month. I will note that if I witness any MLCC owner threatening a member of the ACC during the execution.
One thing before you go. Was there any other witness to that abusive language except between the homeowner and the ACC member?
And the answer is no, which is why a violation report was not filed.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
Just one other thing too. You mentioned the coming to the board with the ACC conditional recommendation for variance, and I just wanted to say that before that goes to the board, we're awaiting an opinion of our attorney on the CCNRs, and so that's still pending out there.
And I should note, again, for the record, that the ACC recommended that the club actually consult because of the curious nature of these 2 non-related variance requests, but it's also better for the club to request legal counsel.
Yes, it is in this case, definitely. Thank you very much. Yes, Tom?
I'd like to make a motion to accept Ray Dorsch's, resignation. No?
No.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Tom.
Mr. Spence. Okay, so we don't have any condominium report. We have no declaration report, so we're going to finance. Mr. Doyle?
I move that we approve checks from over $1,000 from operations and reserve accounts.
Do we have a second?
December 2019.
Second.
Any discussion needed? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So passed.
And I move that we approve the finance and credit reports from December 2019.
I'll second.
Any discussion necessary? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We've got a list of RFCA's. Richard, do you want to talk now? Or?
I do.
I'm Richard Creed, and I am secretary of the Green Committee. And I had some comments regarding the RFCA's that are being presented. I wanted to make sure that the board and audience knows some things that are of concern. If we go down the list, if we go to RFCA 2020-03, this is for design and remodeling of the dumpster area on Augusta. I'm not convinced that's a Green Committee. I'm not sure that that's a golf maintenance area issue. I think that's house. That is a desertscape area that is not adjacent to or close to the The, yeah, and similarly, the next one, which is 2020-04, that's about the fencing down there and the landscape down that by the end of the what is it, temporary 19th hole and the street. I'm not, it seems to me that in the past that fence was paid for by house committee and not golf committee, so, golf course maintenance. So you might want to look at who's going to be charged on that also. The next one is 2020-05, and that's for $12,000 for a boundary survey and calculation, analysis, and survey work to be done by the boundary. This was something that was brought up at the Green Committee because of some issues regarding the cart path going down and not knowing if indeed what portion of the cart path was ours and was someone else's. This RFCA never got to Green Committee. Understand please that this RFCA was brought to the board, originated by the Green Committee, and not voted on the Green Committee. And I don't know if it got to finance, I have no idea. It's the first time I've seen it here. So that is not, be assured we did not vote on that. Consider RFC 2020-07, that's for $5,520.73 for a reserve for T yardage plaques, which are 8 by 60. I don't know what that is. That must be 8 by 6 with a parentheses on it. I don't know. The vendor was Southwest Reps, and that also was not ever brought to the Green Committee for approval, and as far as we know, never got to finance, so I don't know how it got here. The next one, 2020-08, $5,670.96 for fairway yardage plaques with logos and numbers. This again was never voted on by the Green Committee, and we don't know if it ever got to finance. I don't know how it ever got here. These are a few things that have happened that are Green Committee issues, and we need to please be assured that we would probably have approved them, and if the process was done right, but we didn't have anything, our name is not on this. Thank you.
Okay, Richard, you're welcome. Are you looking for a response, or do you just want to make the comments? Okay, in that case, we'll move
The only
forward.
thing that I just confirm, all of these did go through the finance committee. Okay.
Beg to differ. The last two did not.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
The last two items, the last two that he's referring to, RFCA 2020-07 and 2020-08, have not gone through the finance.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Brian, but I'm also gonna put in my 2 cents here. Those that we're talking about, 07 and 08, are really club generated. This was something that the general manager has brought forward, and I'm gonna let him speak specifically about this.
Okay, so the Green Committee did address the worn out yardage markers in the fairways. Raphael started his process there, but as the marketing group and myself look through social media and with our new relationship we're trying to gain with Golf Now and the #1 platform, Golf Advisor, we were really trying to make sure that we had the regular things that most golf courses have, which would be fairway markers that are marked correctly and they're not worn out. So we did expedite that one through because we hope to have that partnership in April, helping with, driving revenue in the summer where we always lag. So, it is important that you monitor, that type of stuff when you start creating a new revenue stream. So that was something that was important. Raphael got it done for me. I've got an actual picture of them right here. So they're going to kind of match the club. They're a 10-year product. They're resin impregnated, so they're going to last much longer. We're going to have a golf course that's well marked. I'd be happy to share some of the social media comments that were shared by outside folks. We get used to playing the course, and sometimes it's nice to have a fresh set of eyes that, for certain deliverables that when you go say that they wanted those repaired, so. And then the other thing that ties back to is the Green Committee did suggest, and we did approve, to move forward with painting the T standards on the golf course. And through the management staff and other member feedback, we feel the hand-painted markers up on the tee boxes do not reflect the true reflection of Mission Lakes Country Club. So we've elected to change those out, so there'll be a professional product up there as well. So those did go a little bit quicker, and I'm sorry the Green Committee was not aware of that, but we do need to make sure that the golf course is marked for the folks that have never been here before. The signage is great, but when you're on a par 3, you kind of need to know how far that is. And the painted markers were an okay remedy for the worn out markers that were there, but we do have to correct those.
Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, I'd like to just add one other comment to Brian's comments. The board puts a tremendous amount of pressure on Brian to financially manage the club and drive revenue here and stuff. And a lot of the stuff that he's been working with these outside golf booking units and everything, is driven by the appearance of the course and the yardage markers and those kinds of things. And there's I think a need, particularly because we're in high season right now and we're getting a lot of outside play, I think that there's a need to move quickly on this stuff, and I think that it's a balancing act sometimes between making sure everybody's notified and getting things done. So it's not an intent to try and skirt steps or anything, but an attempt to meet our goals financially and everything and try and control our revenue streams. So with that being said, move to the RFCA's.
Okay, go ahead.
So I move that board approves RFCA 2020-0.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes.
You just said that the Green Committee approved the model 7000?
Right. Yes.
So what is this one here? This 001?
Model
8900.
Model 7000D.
That's
Right.
the one the finance approved. Mike, do you have the minutes in front of you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I sent it to you. That's what you approved, the 700.
So our meeting was on the 2nd of January, and we approved that 3rd.
Whatever.
Yeah, the 2nd of January was the Green Committee meeting.
3rd.
Whatever it is.
Anyway,
Second. It was the second.
Yeah.
Feel better?
regardless, the discussion was the model number, the number of years it had, and the number of hours it actually has on it, and that was to be followed up with the general manager, but it was for a different, that model number, not this model number. Is this the same?
No,
There were 3 bids on it, and one of them was the 7,000. I'm gonna get, the RCA's are noted that the one that was approved was actually a model number 8900A, a John Deere unit. The 7,000 model number was a Realmaster, a Toro. So there may have just been confusion on the part number on the notes on it.
So the minutes of our meeting is wrong then, that it wasn't the John Deere 1000,
It is.
Master 7000?
It is a John Deere, but the not to exceed on the John Deere quote is 83071.
I'll double check with my record to see if this is correct.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Richard.
Just real quick on that too, that was approved in the finance committee when we did the reserve plan spending for 2020 as well, the equipment package for Rockland.
Okay, is there anything else, Michael?
No.
Okay, moving on to House Committee, Mr. Spence.
Wendy's not able to make it today. It's a short report. Cheryl Brulin is looking at the dog park, and they're looking at the amenities in the women's restroom. And yes, the house is going to work with the Desertscape, with the dumpsters out here. And we have a rendering of the clubhouse coming. Brian, would you like to say something about our?
The Tim Castor, our designer that's in charge of the rendering process, he's promised those by the end of the month, so we should be able to share those at the latest the first part of February. So everybody can kind of look. The architect did supply the elevations to him, so we hope to have those by the end of the month, which is next week.
That's basically our report. Any questions?
You have one, Tom.
Yes.
Tom, you discussed a possible dog park. Have you
I
decided?
didn't say possible. I said they were checking into it. But Cheryl
Okay.
Brulin's checking into it.
Okay, but has anybody decided where it's gonna go?
Brian, where are we in that?
We were waiting for committee input on where they thought it could go, because the two possible locations that were mentioned are not probably gonna happen, one in a wash and one right next to the 10th tee box.
But we're still looking at it. Thank you.
Tom, no one's brought that forward any further yet, so that's kind of on hold. Okay, member communications, Trish.
Melissa's intercession is here.
Come on down, Melissa.
Thanks. We have our February newsletter coming out shortly. It's gonna be a little bit shorter, and we were discussing why that is, and we're thinking that, because we are doing the e-news every other week now, that becomes more timely and more people are getting that, and it's more fluid. Whereas a newsletter is a little bit more static with due dates, etc. So if it comes out and it seems a little short to you, refer back to your e-news, because that's where we're getting a lot of our information now. So e-news is really kind of bolstering up our communication right now, where the newsletter is a little bit more static. We're getting members' input for changes in the website. Thank you, Mr. Creep. And we encourage that because we want to keep it as up to date as possible, and it's almost impossible to have every avenue checked by one person. So if you see something that is out of date, not submitted, ridiculous, email me and I'll send it right to Brian. The men's golf and women's golf associations are going to go on constant contact. Men's is already on, women's is going on, which is nice. So we're using Constant Contact. That's the company that allows us to do the e-news, where I input your email so it generates information for you. So we're going to actually use Constant Contact for information for the women's golf and the men's golf association, just to make it more accessible. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Melissa, appreciate that.
Good job, Melissa. Thanks.
Okay, come on up. Neighborhood Watch, Mr. Caribou.
Take a nap.
Okay.
I didn't say it.
Larry Kirby, Captain of our Citizens on Patrol. Okay, for December, we volunteered 340 hours for a cum total of 24,912 hours since we started, which is, it'll be 8 years coming in April. And we put on 1,253 miles for a cum total of 116,012 miles since we started. So I will talk a little bit about a few of our incidents that happened this last month. December, there was a white Toyota Sequoia that was stopped and parked up on Appalachian. The guy out there with his handheld remote door opener trying to open the door. And one of my guys asked him if he could help him, and they said no. It just seemed odd that this guy was around with the door. Anyway, he went on. We don't know what the deal was with him, but it didn't seem right anyway. In December, there was given information about a truck being stolen on Joel, and it looks like it was reported to the sheriff, and he got the truck back in a few days, so that was good. Over on Durrell, I was out patrolling and found a garage door open on Karen Dayhill's house, and seemed kind of strange. Anyway, I went over there and I knocked on the door, and no answer, so I called one of her friends that used to house sit for her and that, and to see if she knew it. I knew Karen was leaving probably in a couple of weeks to go back to Wyoming. But anyway, I was concerned about her health. Something might have happened to her, so I called Cheryl Lake, and she came right over, and we went into the house, and we were thankful that she wasn't there. Anyway, so she called Karen's son in Colorado, who said that Karen was with her daughter in Wyoming. She left early. So anyway, turns out the cat sitter apparently left the door open, even though she came by and said she didn't. So bottom line was all was well. It was just one of them. I was kind of concerned that something might have happened to her. You know, any of us that are getting up in that age. Anyway, back in December 2, white pickup pulling a car on Spyglass and Country Club. We followed it to Mission Lake Boulevard. It took Mission Lake Boulevard. It took off high rate of speed, unable to get the license plate number. Also, this was reported again like a week later. That same pickup towing another vehicle. So I don't know. We don't know if they were. I didn't hear anything about any stolen cars, but they did take off pretty fast. Okay. Back in December 29th, the owner on Jones Court stopped one of our patrol persons. Just I want to pass on a thank you for what the cops do what they do for the community here. Over on Sanderton, there's a white pickup truck that's been there since January 1st. Reported to dispatch, it was not stolen, and Highway Patrol was notified to come and have it towed. And then the bottom line was the guy lives right there on that street, and he wants the truck repossessed, and that's why he put it out there. And he pulled out the valve stem out of the tire on the right side, the left side. Anyway. So they couldn't tow it, being that it's the owner. It's parked in an empty lot over there next to Long's house. Anyway, she asked me when we're gonna get that truck out of there, but anyway, I guess it ain't going anywhere. Okay, first on January 1st, I saw a white male going into a backyard between two homes there on Leonard Court, wearing a white sweatshirt, about 200 pounds, 5'10". And I couldn't tell if there was a car parked out on an empty lot. I couldn't tell where he was going or whatever, but he disappeared, and I waited. Anyway, I never saw him again, so I never heard anything about anything happening. So I don't know if the guy was, lived there or whatever, but I never saw him before. But anyway, just a note of what, there's a stranger out kind of sneaking in between the houses. Our patrol officers like to see an address book updated in our patrol car, and Brian just told me that it's going to be updated by the end of the month, so that'd be good. So our other one is like 2017, so we'd like to have it updated. A lot of changes has happened there in our community. January 10th, I got a call from our security here at home that there's a lady down on Oakmont, down in the corner where they lock up one of the gates with the chain, and this lady says that she got locked out of her house and she needs some help. And anyway, she never seen anybody in this house before, and it happened to be Diane Beard's house down there in the corner. Anyway, I says, I'll be right there. So I came down, and anyway, security left, and anyway, we got a locksmith down there, and the bottom line was, she had taken her spare key out of her garage to get in, because she was having a problem with her key. So let the hairdressing lady come in that day, and she forgot to put the key back, the spare key. When she went to dinner up here at the club, and she went back home, and of course she can get in the garage, but she couldn't get into the house. Anyway, the bottom line was, the lady that she had dinner with, I talked to her the next night anyway, and asked her if Diana had talked to her, and she says, no, yeah, she talked to her, but I said, she said anything about getting locked out? And she says, no. And anyway, I said, she says, well, why did you call AAA? And I wasn't aware of it, the AAA would help you out with a garage door. Anyway, so the bottom line was it cost her $120 to get a locksmith there. It took them about 7 minutes to make that lock. Anyway, so I called AAA just to confirm what they said. And yes, they will pay up to $100 for opening your door. If you're a Premier, you have Premier service member. So, not just a regular member, you gotta be a Premier member. So, but they will pay up to $100. That's just good for everybody to know as well. I got a report, verbally report about a couple of robbery over on Eden Court this past week. And apparently they were robbed twice. Apparently by the same guy, and apparently the sheriff knows who they are. They're looking for them, and the guy just got out of jail. So that's all.
You got a description?
I don't know. Oh yeah, they know who he is. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, we need a description.
Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much up to date. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, February 11th. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry, appreciate it. Okay, Tom, Bill and Rec.
Tom's helping me out here. I'd like to make a motion to accept Sandra Gray as a co-chair, help Kevin out with the Pool and Rec Committee.
We have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Ms. Lisa Berry as an alternate member of the Pool and Rec Committee.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we have Kevin. Kevin's gonna give a report.
Come on down, Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Conroy, Chair, co-chairman, thank you folks, I really do appreciate that. Just a couple things, we are talking about the pool being shut down again. On behalf of all of us, we don't like it either, but it needs to be done. And to get the word out there, we're gonna try to keep the spas open while the work is going on, okay? There may be a day or two where they're jackhammering, where the cement dust would come up, we won't want people using the spas, and we're hoping to make those available during pool time. Okay, we're also, a little bit ahead of time, we have the health fair that's going to be coming up in March. If anyone has any suggestions or ideas what we should do, or like to help out, let me know. Trish mentioned earlier, trip to the Cabin Museum. This has been suggested by members in the Pool and Rec Committee that we would like to see more activities where people get together and do things. And a couple other suggestions along those lines were having more guest speakers come out here. We had a nurse approach me the other day and say she'd be glad to come out and talk about drugs and how many drugs we're using as we grow older, which may be a good idea to have. Okay? And other than that, maybe having a walking group. Okay? So if any of you are interested in that or know of other people who are, because you folks always come here, these meetings, most of the members don't. So if you could get that information out, that would be great. And Brian's going to talk about two things, but I wanted to mention we did sell our old patio furniture. And just for a suggestion to people who may not know, if you bought any of it, you can use WD-40 on those straps. It'll make them look brand new. Okay?
Kevin, thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. So that brings us to the end of the committee reports. Mr. Wright, the general manager's report, please.
All right, just got a few points to touch on here. The new key card system, asset sale, the audit process, and a little bit about social media. The new year's here and the staff has been pretty busy. We're pleased to announce the new key card system is in place and a welcome change for access to the amenities. The days of continually swiping your card are gone, and the new system has an electronic chip embedded in the card, which triggers all MLCC access points to open quickly and efficiently. Please swing by the membership office and pick up your new amenity card if you've not already. The membership office will only be able to issue cards if the account is in good standing. If you have an issue with your account, please stop by Laura's office or contact her by email or by phone. One item to note, the new key cards do not work if you put a hole in them, so please do not punch a hole in your card as it destroys the ability of the card and the embedded electronics to work at access points. The asset sale 2020 was a success for the folks that attended. The early figures show $805, but the February finance packet will confirm an exact accounting of all the member charge purchases. So James had some delivery charges in there too, which was great for some of the bigger pieces. The 2019 audit process has started for the club, and the accounting offices have prepared the requested information for our CPA to review. The finance committee met on January 15th and examined the unaudited results for 2019. And the consolidated income statement, P&L, shows a positive variance to the budget for 2019 of $33,311. Once the CPA has completed the audit, we will share the results with the owners. Please stay in touch with the MLCC communication channels. That'd be the website, app, e-news, Facebook, and postings in the clubhouse bulletin board. That's an important place to look if you guys are at the club. Just kind of peek around the corner and see what's going on the bulletin board. A lot of times we post things to the bulletin board before it goes out to the e-blast or website, so that's kind of a first look place to check. The coming months, we'll see the club sending out information regarding the restated governing documents that are for review and your approval, election notices, proposed clubhouse remodel renderings, and of course, any member that has a hole-in-one in the MLCC Hole-in-One Club. On Friday, I looked with all the hole-in-ones we've had. There's over $1,200 in the MLCC Hole-in-One account, so hopefully somebody can have a lucky shot and win that prize. It's a nice prize.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Yes, sorry.
I want to say one thing about the pickleball tennis courts. There's a combination to get in there. So you might want to mention that because you can't get in there with a card.
Would you say that again, Larry?
That's it. The pickleball tennis courts, you could have to use a combination to get in there. Your card would not work. It's got a combination. You got a combination punch. I can tell you the number, but I wouldn't bother to reveal that.
Okay.
2630 can get you in there.
Yeah, it's okay. So, a general membership that play tennis?
Yeah, what happened was the card reader never did work. And to keep people out of there that didn't belong there, it was tenth the price to put the combination in there. So everybody that plays knows the combination. Pro Shop has the combination. And we can give it out to anybody that's
Well, the point is, we have a new card reader system that should be installed in the tennis courts too.
Yeah, I'll check into that. Jim's in there.
Because it's open to our members, so we can't have a secret combination that they can't get in. Right?
It never did work, it never was hooked up. So if we want to put a new one in, you'd have to run it all down there. I'm all for it.
Well, what we want is that our current card reader system that we spend a lot of money for to work down there as well as it does everywhere else. So would you look at that?
I'll check on that.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we have any old business. Under new business, we have the 2020 elections, and there's just a couple of points, because Brian touched on one of those, and that's that we have new election laws that are in place this year, and there's some very significant changes actually. And our legal counsel is working on these now in terms of preparing us for our upcoming elections. And the first general notice about nominations is scheduled for February 14th, because the process is not going to take us 60 or 90 days that we wait to vote, because when we actually do the vote process, we'll be down to a 30-day window. So we're not backed up as far as we normally have been in the past. Now, along those lines, I've spoken with Juliana Dawson, who has agreed to serve as our inspector of elections again. So I would like to ask one of our board members if they would make a motion to nominate Julie for this position.
I move that we nominate Julie Dawson to be inspector of elections for the elections this year.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion that's needed on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any of those opposed? Okay, that one will carry. Okay, that brings down the lien delinquent list.
I have none.
Okay, yay.
Well,
Like that.
it's over in the office.
Okay, board members, do we have any other issues at hand? Do we have, if not, then do we have a motion to adjourn?
Are we gonna do a drawing yet?
We'll do that as soon as we
Did
adjourn.
everybody sign up?
As soon as we adjourn.